What is good, everybody? We are live. Welcome to the Worldwide Company of Gamers podcast. We are back, fam. We are back. I have missed you all. It's been a while. It's been over a month. Truth is, guys, you probably all know, but I had a baby. I had a baby daughter. A beautiful baby girl, and called Autumn. I'll show you guys a few pics in a minute, but it's just been a crazy ride. A lot's happened. The delivery was difficult. Jodie nearly died. She lost 2 liters of blood and had basically where the uterus separates from the placenta, a placental abruption, and it was scary. So we were in hospital for 2 weeks, in intensive. They were being looked after and being monitored. Baby had an infection, so did the wife, and safe to say it's been crazy. And for the last 3 weeks, we've just been trying to adjust. 2 weeks we've been trying to adjust to home life. So forgive me if I'm a bit rusty tonight, guys. I'm a little less prepared than normal due to having less time to prepare than normal. But I hope you guys stick with it and stick with me. I appreciate you. But let's get this show on the road, and let's introduce the panel. I missed all these guys so much. Hearing their voices again makes me emotional. God damn it. But first things first, before we do so, let's give a shout out to all you homies in the chat. Missed all of you. Buck Roger, the OG, Wolfaki, Compost Smurf, we've got Toolman, we've got Lido Lee Games. It's his first time listening live. Hey brother, welcome. Glad that you're here. We've got Dawn, Ice Queen Gaming. Shout out to you, Dawn. Hope you're well. Jonathan Martinez, Newtonian. We have Mary Wilcox, Gadget, Jamie Mather, my dude Jamie. Hello, my bro. I hope you're doing well. Zuby Tech, my boy Zuby. It's so good that you're here, buddy. Feel free to jump on, Zuby, if you've got a bit of time. You're always welcome. You know that. Skyward Sword. Excited to see this back. Oh, great that you're here, dude. Excited to see you as well. The Forgetful Gamer. I can't remember this guy. I'm only kidding. Man, it's been a minute for Worldwide Company of Gamers. Glad to have you back. Congrats to you and the wife and your baby girl. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you. The Unknown, my dude. Initiate lockdown mode, man. As in enable sub-only mode for 2 weeks or something. Every pony channel in this mode. Right. So, guys, I will just let you know, due to the current egregious leaks happening surrounding God of War Ragnarok, I'm going to hide the chat, the YouTube chat from the wall. So anybody watching the screen isn't having spoilers blasted at them, and you'll have to look at the live chat at your own risk if you want to see what everybody's commenting, to avoid spoilers. I hope that helps. Doing everything we can to keep God of War Ragnarok on lockdown. But yeah, we've got KK Hitsat. Sorry if I butchered that. Great that you're here, buddy. Welcome. See Fresh. Oh my days. All you guys. 47. Welcome everyone. So let's get this show on the road. We've got an awesome show in store tonight, discussing loads of topics, from a recent interview with Hermen Hulst and other interviews. It's interview galore recently. We've got a huge segment talking games, upcoming games we're excited about, and also the unprecedented spike in PlayStation 5 demand, exceeding initial expectations and forecasts from Sony, which is pretty exciting. Really is speeding up, and people are getting their hands more and more on this console. So But first things first, the panel. We have Mr. David Folke, we've got Retro, we've got Wilhelm, the absolute legends. Hopefully more will join us in a bit, but we'll see. But yeah, how are you doing, guys? Let's start off with Folke. How are you, brother?
Good, mate. Good, mate. Congratulations. Welcome to the Dad Club.
Thank you so much.
I've seen some really lovely photos, and I've also seen two very proud parents, two very exhausted parents, but you're experiencing things that most parents have already gone through, so you're all good, mate. Glad to be here, great to be back, good to have a chat. Fair bit going on, but most importantly, there's a fair few games coming out, so I think that's the main focus people should be worried about. Absolutely.
Worried or excited?
Well, it depends on what side of the coin you're sitting on and betting on, but everyone should be excited. You could be worried if you want certain specific things to be coming, but if you're happy enough to just pick up a controller and have a crack, you should be very excited.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. My bro. I'm glad you're doing well, buddy. You been playing much?
Yeah, I've been doing a bit. I'm trying to get through Yakuza Like a Dragon. That thing's got some wicked awesome RPG mechanics in it, JRPG mechanics in it. I said in a private chat, I hope that Seeker grabs some kind of game and has a proper fucking crack at it, because there's some really, really good stuff under the surface in that thing. It's a bit different from what I was used to with the rest of the Yakuza games, but there's a lot of similarities there too. But yeah, no, I've been playing that. Been playing Lego Avengers with my son. We've been working through that and working through Pokemon Arceus. He's super excited about the new Pokemon games coming out this month. He's seen a couple of other indie games popping up too that he's excited about. What else has been going on gaming-wise? Not too much. We've been mucking around trying to get his Minecraft account sorted out, but he's been spending a lot more time playing Roblox as well. So
awesome. Oh, mate. Kids, eh? I'm showing everybody.
Roblox is not awesome. Sorry for interrupting there.
Well, hang on. I will actually stir the pot a little bit here, Retro, because Roblox actually on PC anyway. Not sure about Xbox if it's different, but there are like first-person shooters created using in the creation engine, and it.
Believe me, I have seen
robust simulators, bro. Like it's military sims. It's crazy.
Both my kids use it, but the problem is when you start getting into the Robux that you have to pay for. Yeah, that's the currency you have to use.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. 20 quid a time. 20 quid a time for some points that they can spend in literally 2 minutes. It's crazy, but they love it.
He's talking. I was just about to say he's talking like a dad that's got a credit card hooked up to the bloody account.
Facts. They know my PIN and everything, man. It's ridiculous.
Oh no, I've kept mine very well away from my son. His favourite, because he's nuts into trains, and he was always a Thomas the Tank Engine fan. He found one on there where you can just drive the trains around and do whatever you like with them. And he was having a blast with it the other day. And you're not going to hear him making up these stories. Like he'll walk in there and he's got bloody, I think he's got James, or the big red one. He's got him flying off a bridge and crashing and all that. Just total destruction. It was. Oh man, it was mad fun. But no, that's what's been going on. So,
hey, shout out to Jamie Mather in the chat. For those who don't know, he was supposed to. We're gonna get him on the show soon. He's pretty young. I work with his mum. But he's got a proper clever head on his shoulders, and I was having a deep chat with him about AI and like procedural generation and all kinds of crazy, amazing shit about video games because he wants to be a game developer when he's older. Anyway, Jamie, you've got just a heads up, bro. You've got a little surprise coming in the post from a good friend of the show's called Doomsayers Network. You might know him. He's been on the show a couple of times. He has his own podcast called the Doomsayers Network. It's on YouTube. He's a really cool guy, good friend of the show. Retro, the panel member Retro, he's a panel member of Doomsayers show as well. He's sending you a little something, bro. And I won't spoil it, but be excited. I think you'll love it. So yeah.
And can I just say, it's really good to hear that there's still little young curious minds that are interested in a hobby that we absolutely have loved since we were probably your age or younger. So I just want to say it's really good to see, and keep at it, man. Keep at it. It's a great hobby to be in. You meet so many fantastic people.
Facts.
Yeah.
100%. Go on, Folky.
I was just going to say it certainly is. It's a great community if you can, find a little niche or your group of people like ourselves who enjoy it, and aren't fanatics or anything like that. We just enjoy it as a hobby, and
yeah, no, 100%. 100%. So yeah, I thought I'd throw that out to you, Jamie, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't ever lose your aspirations or allow yourself to stagnate. Keep hold of your goals, passionately keep hold of them, because so many of us stagnate and let our dreams kind of fizzle out. But you seem to know what you want to do, and game development is so exciting. I know for DZ loves it. He's a panel member on the show. He absolutely loves game development because it's his biggest passion in life and it's his job. So it's kind of like, it's just like his whole life is doing the thing that he loves. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, keep your eyes out on the post. Maybe by next week or the week after should be arriving, and we'll get you on the show soon. His mum, I don't want to embarrass the lad, but his mum says he sits in his room with his laptop ready for the show to start, and
that's awesome.
And he excitedly looks forward to the show. He really enjoys listening to the panel and the views and the banter in the chat as well. He really gets a lot from it. So that's really, honestly, like for when his mum said that to me the other day, it made me a little emotional to know that the show really is making a difference and it's encouraging people. So yeah, shout out to
it's amazing is what it is. It is amazing. That's what it is.
Yeah,
the fact that you can reach so many different kinds of people, and yeah,
facts.
It's good.
Big ups and thank you to Doomsayers. Flipping heck, I didn't see that. Thank you so much, brother. Doomsayers has donated for $4.99. What's up, Wooly in the panel? Sorry, can't be there. Have a good show. Crocman out. Doomsayer loves his Crocs. Them shoes that, like, them plastic shoes. Them. And yeah, Retro always takes the piss. I love it. Shout out to Sammy Odyssey in the chat. JC, keep on keeping on. You guys are back. Great to be listening again. Oh, guys, the love. I feel the love. It's amazing. Yeah, I've managed to up my mic quality. So hopefully my voice isn't as quiet this time round. Don't mind me, I'm just throwing heads in Dishonored. So let's get on with I haven't introduced the rest of the panel yet. Freaking hell, what's wrong with me? Let's go with you, Retro, seeing as though you were talking. How are you, dude?
I'm very well this week. Finished my last shift this morning, and that's me off for 11 days now, so just feeling very relaxed and chilled.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, glad to hear. Shout out to Twisted Sin, $2. Thank you so much, buddy. Yo, the best podcast is back. You're damn fucking right it is. Damn right. The best podcast is back. But you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little rusty. A lack of time to prepare. So I'm a little less prepared. Feel a little bit more impromptu today than normal. But we'll roll with it. We'll ride with it. But no, glad you're good, Retro Bro. And Wilhelm, my dude. It's been a minute.
I know, man. It's been like 3 months, I think.
How's my awesome mini Hermen Hulst doing?
I'm doing as fine as I can. As you know, recently, like I think 1 or 2, like 2 months ago, nearly, I turned 18 years old. So yeah, finally, like one of you guys, I'm fully functional adult, and
we can finally take him seriously, guys. We can finally take
him seriously. I'm no longer a hack. Now I'm a credible source of everything.
Just don't go being all moody and attitudinal on us, and then bailing on us because you've suddenly had a change of heart and like just all of that shit that teenagers do, you know.
I'm still keeping the energy. I'm still keeping the energy afloat as always.
That Charlie Sheen godliness.
Of course, he's still guiding me throughout my life, showing me the passages to gold and glory. Well, anyways, because of that, it's been pretty busy for me. Family came over to my house. We all celebrated. Spent the day with a couple of very good friends of mine who I've known since 5th grade. We just walked around the city doing dumb shit, and then we played Tekken and Dragon Ball Z Fighters all night. So that was that was great. Also, school has gotten a lot harder. A lot of exams and stuff. But other than that, I've been doing very, very great. Got a new drum set finally, and
big win.
I also, out of the birthday money that I got, I finally also bought myself a PS3 because a big gap that I had was that I had at the time next gen hardware, and like PS4 is no longer next gen hardware. Unfortunately, I still had to get that PS5.
It's a Series S, bro. That Series S is next gen, bro. That's the shit you need.
Fuck that. No, but I had the PS4 and I loved it very much. I still do. But I always had like it's sort of like if you feel it, because PS4 unfortunately isn't backwards compatible, so like the majority of the PS3 catalog was still locked behind for me, and that always sucked. But now finally I've got myself the PS3 right there, and I even bought a couple of games as well. Like, for example, one thing that I did instantly was buy the rest of the Metal Gear saga, because I did really love Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, that game, I think it's like the greatest PS1 game ever made.
Facts.
One of the greatest stealth games of all time. And I'm also one of the few Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker enjoyers.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that game rules and might be like the best game on the PSP. And now I've got myself like the rest of the games as well. Metal Gear Solid 4 as well. I think Metal Gear Solid 4 was even the primary reason why I bought that thing, because Metal Gear Solid 4 like was released nowhere else.
Bro,
like, it was like PS3 exclusive. It was on that hardware. It stayed on that hardware.
I think calling that game a classic doesn't do it justice. That game is like, it's more rare than a classic. It's more rare than... It's just this absolute treasure that has been almost lost.
A funny story is... I wanted to tell real quickly. When I ordered Metal Gear Solid 4, I specifically ordered, the version of the game that, that wasn't like there's like the platinum version,
Mm-hmm.
The platinum re-release, and I hate that platinum case. Especially that Metal Gear Solid 4 case. It looks awful because it's like basically bloated with all these, Game of the Year 2008, 10 out of 10 GameSpot, and then that fat fucking USK logo on top. It just ruins the box art. So I bought the edition, that had the normal box art,
Mm-hmm.
It came over, and I was pleasantly surprised because the case was in such immaculate condition. I opened up the case, and Resident Evil 5 was in there instead.
You're shitting me.
I'm not shitting you. I've opened the case.
Bro, you got Phil Spencer. You got Phil Spencer. You got Phil Nest.
I saw fucking Resident Evil 5 in that fucking case. But for a moment I thought to myself, who the fuck Phil Spencer me? But after that I just did how do you call that, like a refund on Amazon, and they said, okay, you get your money, you don't have to send back anything, you just get the money like that. And I thought, cool. So I ordered the Platinum Metal Gear Solid 4 because I wanted to make really sure that I get the game this time. And what I then did was, took the disc from the Platinum case, put it in the good case that was still in great condition, and put Resident Evil 5 on that shitty Platinum case.
I love it. I love it, bro. That's clever thinking right there. That's called ingenuity. That is problem solving.
Absolutely.
Mate.
Now I got Resident Evil 5 for free.
God tier. I love it. Well, congratulations, Will, on your birthday, your recent birthday. You're now a man.
Thank you. Congrats to your daughter as well.
Thank you, brother.
Say something about that. Sorry.
No, so you should be. Shocking, honestly. Like, no, but on a serious note, thank you. Safe to say, I was showing pictures of her just before to everyone. Yeah, I'll show everyone again. This is my baby girl. Autumn. We had actually nurses saying she was the most beautiful baby they've ever seen. And I'm biased because I'm a dad, but I have to agree, she's flipping gorgeous, isn't she, guys? But yeah, I'm very proud. I'm a proud daddy. But yeah,
yes, she is gorgeous, bro. You and the missus have done well.
Thank you, buddy. Coming from the family man
gamer. It's making me all broody and shit, man. And I'm not allowed any more kids.
Keep it in your pants, Retro.
Well, yeah, kind of. Basically, I'm not allowed no new dogs. I'm not allowed no new kids.
Oh, man. I feel you. That's hard. That's tough.
Yeah, so I'm broody. It's supposed to be the female that's broody, by the way. I don't know.
Okay, guys. All right. I'm making the executive decision for my own ability to actually read the chat while streaming and doing all the things that I'm doing. I'm going to get the chat back up, but just, guys, avert your eyes from the chat if you are wanting to avoid any trolls who are trying to spoil God of War. We seem to be good so far. There doesn't seem to be anyone.
We've already made a promise to ban anybody that spoils that goddamn game for me. I swear to God, I'll ban you all. Do not spoil this game for me.
Me too. I've been a fan of the God of War series. I don't know for how many years. I've played all the games, and I've been anticipating that game for I don't know how long, so don't fucking ruin it.
Yeah, big facts.
Don't fucking ruin it.
Say it louder. Shout out to Wariwana, Brian East, Josh Ayres, legends in the chat. Thank you for the kind words, guys. Right, so let's address the elephant in the room before we get onto our first topic, guys. There has been a slight change in the aesthetics of the show. Again, we recently took on a sponsorship deal with Icon Era, and you're all probably wondering what the fuck has happened. Where is Icon Era? I don't know how to tactfully put this. I'm going to be as tactful as possible and as respectful as possible. But we as a panel have for quite a number of weeks been on the edge of revoking our part of the partnership. Basically, it was an open contract. We could leave at any time, and I just wasn't. I just feel like we as a panel unanimously feel that we are better off without, and keeping to our own original vision and goal of the show without having any affiliation with a third party, because the actions and words of a third party that have no kind of they're not exactly part of the panel or the podcast, well, they can still reflect on the podcast if we're affiliated with them. So I hope that makes sense. We just decided to keep things simple and to avoid any more... I don't know how to word it. David, you're a business guy. Could you word it in a tactful way for everyone?
I can try. Basically,
he told them to fuck. We told them to fuck off. No, I'm joking. Go on, Folky.
No, not really. So we entered into the agreement quite timidly originally. We thought, we'll give it a go as a collective group, because the whole panel, it's not just those of us who show up frequently. There's a big group of people behind this show. And we sort of timidly said, right, we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. And some of the stuff we really enjoyed, but there was also comments that were being made by various different people that were not in line with the fairness and the independence that we hold dear. So the panel decided as a group, our independence was our number one priority, and that given the circumstances with some of the different social media platforms that are out there and how they're moderated and involvement and all the rest of it, we decided not to continue. As a group, we decided not to continue on with the arrangement, primarily because we wanted to remain independent and not be subjected to accusations of, peddling one narrative over another. We're all very fiercely against, being called lapdogs, basically. And there's some stuff being put across different social media platforms that just did not sit well, and even by association, even though it's 6 degrees of separation, even by association, it can reflect quite badly upon some of the members within this within our little group. So, decision was made to basically end the deal, and we'll move on as an independent group.
Facts.
And can we just make clear that we made this decision as a group? There was no single one person that made this decision. It was
all unanimous.
And it basically, it was unanimous. Everybody agreed.
Yeah.
Some of the things being said and just the way some people were acting, we weren't comfortable with. We're all for having open debates and everybody having an opinion. But when it gets to toxic levels, that's where we have to step back, because we're not trying to breed a toxic environment. We want everybody to feel welcomed here, regardless of what you support or what you play.
Exactly.
So that was the main reason for the decision.
Beautifully put.
And we were called gang members. I just don't like that. I didn't sign up for no gang.
I love it. Excellently put, bro. And facts, 100%. I was going to say something then, but lost my track of thought. Never mind. I'm a little bit fried at the moment, guys. I've got baby brain. That thing where you've been looking after a baby night and day to the point where you just can't get your thoughts together anymore. It's crazy. It'll pass. I'll get on my mojo again. Just
is it shocking to you how tiring it actually is,
mate? Honestly, you resent being awake. You resent being awake.
Yeah.
You resent life.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Yeah.
No, but it does. It's surprising how quickly it can take it, because it's not just a physical thing; it's a mental thing too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I know you've checked her breathing while she's sleeping. I know you have.
100%, 1,000 times, bro. 1,000 times.
See, and that's the kind of things that's playing on your brain. So then you get mentally tired too. But it will pass, bro.
It
will
brother.
Pass.
Thank you.
Wait till you're in the shower and you think you hear them screaming, and it's just the drain plug.
I love it.
That shit will do your head in.
I may not be a dad, but I had two siblings who were also toddlers at some point, so I know the annoyance.
No, 100%. Shout out to Ghost in the Shell Gaming. What's good, brother? Feel free to jump on if you're free and you want to join us. Let me know. Be great to have you jump on. He was on Salty's Gaming Podcast not long ago, and he's a really cool voice of reason in the community. Also on that, regarding what Retro said, although I think it's pretty evident we all have a a not so subtle leaning towards our favourite platform.
Xbox.
Yeah,
Game
Xbox,
Pass for
100%. No, but although we do have our preferences, and you could say this is we talk more about PlayStation than Xbox. We try. I think that's just because we prefer the platform because of what they're achieving and the status quo that exists. But that doesn't mean that you're not welcome as an Xbox fan. You're not allowed to. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to say your 2 cents and grill us in the chat or come on at some point as well.
I'll speak to you all day about Forza Motorsport all day long.
100%. 100%. So I agree with what Retro said 100%. So yeah, that's why we're no longer affiliated with Iconera fam. Let's move on. Let's get on with the show, guys. We have so much to catch up on. It has been a minute. It's been like six weeks or something ridiculous. What do you want to talk about first? We had the interview with Hermen Hulst, where he doubled down on PlayStation being the number one priority. Why I just wanted to bring this up is because we not been fucking saying this for time since the podcast began. There is no way that PS5 will unanimously have all its games put to PC day one at the cost of quality, and that there will logically, it's logical for an indefinite period of time be a double dip approach, where if they're not live service games, they'll most likely be given PC ports down the line to maximize profitability and sales. And this is an interview, guys, that you can all read, given by Hermen Hulst recently. I think it was about 4 weeks ago. Don't know if you guys want to touch on that.
Well, I mean, they've been talking about it constantly since the PS5 came out. Really, they've been saying how important the PlayStation is to them, and then continued that message when we learned about the PC releases and stuff. So, I mean, it's not new news, is it? I mean, anybody that actually reads into these interviews and stuff would have seen that. You know what I mean? So anyone with half a lick of sense would already know it. But what I'm more interested, in, the way they've got the service now and they want to push it. Do you think that when they release their games on PC, that's when they'll also hit the service?
Possible.
It's good.
Depends on what the game is, I think.
See, that's what I was thinking, because some of them, I mean, we got the Spider-Mans, didn't we? They released on PC. Did we get God of War? I can't remember. But yeah, I'm just wondering if that's
2018 was in there already.
Was it?
Yeah, but that even more aids your point in a way. If it released before its PC port on PS Plus, it was on PS Plus before that, then how much more likely would it be that they do release a game on PS Plus when a PC port comes out? It's possible.
It's been in there twice.
Mm-hmm.
So, God of War 2018 was released in PS Plus as part of the monthly games download, and then that was prior to the PS5 launch announcement. And then when the PS5 launched, it was one of the marquee titles in the PS Plus collection, and it's still there. So, as was, I think, Spider-Man, what hasn't. And I'm just trying to think what the other ones were. I know the Uncharted, not the updated version, but the older version of Uncharted 4 is in the PS Plus collection, and it was part of the PS Plus free games as well. But it's certainly the strategy's quite clear. They talk about it all the time, but no one ever listens. If you've got a live service game and you've got it coming out on PlayStation, and you launch it day and date on PC as well, where you get a bigger player base, because it's either going to be a cheap game to get full of microtransactions, free to play full of microtransactions, or you're going to pay full price to get the full game with all the bells and whistles in it. It's pretty clear. It's pretty straightforward what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're referring to games that are PlayStation first, PS5 first, so to speak, and then the next step on from there is 12, 18 months later when they put it on the PC, well, it could quite easily end up in the PS Plus second or third tier. I don't know if it'll be third tier, but it'll probably be the second tier. But it just depends on what it is. If Returnal's going to go to the PC, it's already in the PS Plus collection, I think. Or it's already in PS Plus. Just trying to think what other games there are that are potentially going to end up there that are PlayStation games that are fairly recent.
Zuby Tech says every game that is in PS Plus first party is
Horizon
on
Forbidden
PC.
West was big enough to be 2 years later plus. So that's my opinion. But I agree with Retro on that one. I think it's a good launching pad for it, particularly if PlayStation is going to put its own PC launcher out.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. I'll show you guys a quick clip, just kind of reinforcing what this whole time we've kind of been saying. There we go. I had the wrong. A new Julian Chiez, sorry if I butchered that, exclusive interview with Hermen Hulst. PS5 games will see at least a year approx between PS5 release and PC port, with the exception of live service games.
Controllers. That's a great question, Julian.
Just play this.
First off, PlayStation will always be the best place to play. We as PlayStation Studios have a very symbiotic relationship with the platform. We're often the first developers to try new hardware, to try new controllers. We take great pride in that, and we are really excited that we get that role. We kind of are. We represent the game development community within Sony, so we love that. I think it's been really great for the teams to see their wonderful creations also being released on PC, often with the help of our newly acquired team here in Utrecht, the Netherlands, Nixies. Mm-hmm. There are more players, and that's really helpful. I think going forward we'll see at least a year between releases on our own platform, on PlayStation, and on the PC platform, possibly with the exception of live service games. Live service games are a little bit different in nature, because you want to have really strong community, strong engagement right away, right when you go live. So we might, in the case of our live service offerings, go day and date with PC and the PlayStation platform.
So as you can see, there Wilhelm was saying that I'm joking. No, but Hermen Hulst was saying pretty much exactly what we've this whole time assumed on the podcast, that and why is because it just makes business sense. You see a lot of narratives on the internet that seem to go against logic, like a lot of fanboy narratives that just don't make any sense, but the blanket statements that they just assume that if you disagree with, you're an idiot, but there's no real rationale behind it. Whereas the idea that PlayStation drip their content monetization through tiers of like priority in order to maximize sales, i.e. exclusive to a platform to maximize the platform and mindshare, to then after a period of time distribute it to other outlets in order to increase sales and profitability, and in a way that doesn't harm the quality of the product, because a port doesn't harm the original product's development, because they're not concerned about making a product for multiple platforms. They're only making it for one at the time of it being designed and created. There's so many advantages with PlayStation's approach to not going day and date with everything that they create. It's not cannibalistic. It doesn't mitigate or minimize mindshare for a platform they want to be to gain traction. You know, there's so many advantages. Does anybody want to comment on that interview or add anything else before we move on? Do you think there's any? Do you see this changing down the road or anything? Or
no, I think they've got a solid plan. I think they know exactly what they're doing, and I think we should just sit back and enjoy the games instead of worrying about whether a game is, you know, going to eventually go to PC or not. I mean, by the time that even happens, we've already played it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know, when you think about it.
I think.
Go on, sorry, Retro.
Go on.
No.
I was just going to say, I just think that they've found the right balance. You know what I mean? They're not taking away the worth of their games. They're just expanding on it and, you know, drawing more money into it. So I don't think they've rushed into it. A lot of people seem to assume that they've just rushed to this plan all of a sudden, you know what I mean? This stuff takes years of planning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know what they're at. They've been at the top of their game for, 25 years now?
Yeah.
I just don't see that changing.
Yeah. The PC push is a Sean Layton incubated idea. It's not Jim and Herman. It's Sean and possibly even Shuhei were the ones in charge when they came up with that idea. So, you know, but, you know, and Retro just touched on a very good point. Talk about valuing and devaluing and all this other crap that people carry on with, you know. Oh, they're taking a game from exclusive to put it on another platform and blah, blah, blah. So how does it doesn't devalue your console because it's a personal preference choice of accessing. It's not you must have a console to play video games bullshit. But also, look at the amount of people that play digital only now. If you own a game digitally only, you can't resell it. You can't go and get, you know, in the days gone by, I fucking feel old now. You'd go and pre-order the game, right? And you'd get it on launch day or pick it up at midnight or a couple of days earlier if you were lucky. And you'd take it home, you'd bang it in and you'd play the game and you'd play it as fast as you could. And then a couple of weeks later, when you were finished with it and you were happy enough to go and trade it, you'd take it down and you'd trade it in for credits or you'd trade it for another game. And you'd get a decent whack of money back because there's people that don't want to buy brand new that wanted to buy second hand because they needed to save the money or they couldn't quite save up enough money. And you'd go and get, you know, a game that was less than a month old for maybe $20 or $30 cheaper because it was second hand, right? But when you're doing digital only, you can't do that. You can't resell a digital license. So, with this whole argument that it's devaluing your console, it's devaluing this, is bullshit. If you're buying digital only, it's doing absolutely nothing to the evaluation of what you've chosen to play on. Because it's a fucking consumer product. So, if they can just take that narrative out and shoot it, it'd be nice. But moving stuff to PC is not going to devalue your choice, exactly. Your individual consumer choice of accessing an entertainment medium that you like. It's like saying to people, you shouldn't be able to access Netflix on your phone, it should be TV only. How the fuck does that work? Like, does it make any difference? No. It's you choose to consume it where you want to consume it. And the fact that they're, you know, making these games that are not, you know, they're big marquee titles day and day, it wouldn't matter if they did make them PC only 12 months later because it's like if God of War Ragnarok ends up on PC in 18 months' time, is anyone going to care? Because they'll have launched 2 or 3 more games.
Some people do, Falky. Yeah. Remember the rants we've been seeing recently?
But for what purpose? I mean, exactly. You're going to go on an absolute ball terror of a rant and
tagging everyone.
People that have been, what? It just makes no sense to me because if you don't like that personally, well, that's great. That's you can like it, dislike it, love it, hate it, take it out for dinner and do whatever you want with it. But like, if you're going to sit there and say, I don't like it because of this, this, and this, when you're just carrying on because your personal preference has absolutely nothing to do with how the company's being run or what they're choosing to do. Like, if people don't want it, they won't buy it. It's consumerism 101. You offer them a product at a price point. If they don't want it, they won't buy it until the price point's at the right spot, or you give them the quality or the quantity of whatever it is that they want. And, you know, some people who haven't even been alive as long as Sony's been around, and what Microsoft and the rest of them are all the same. There are people that are throwing opinions left, right, and centre that didn't experience the recession of the 90s and didn't have an indication of just how not a recession occurred in 2008 because the housing bubble crashed. Like, there's people that are making these comments saying that this is going to be the worst recession in history. Like, it might be in terms of dollars and whatnot, but it's you know, put it into perspective. If it means that things are going to get cheaper or dearer or whatever it is, well, so be it. If there's more places to access an entertainment medium, how's it a bad thing? Like, I couldn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's only, for me, it's only a bad thing. I know we've really, the team is scrambling with so many variations of the same game to release simultaneously on multiple platforms. That to me is the very, for me, that's what separates PlayStation games from the clusterfuck that is what you can get in third party multiplats, and that, you know, that production value is significantly impacted because teams are having to optimize for so many different consoles. And if Sony did go that route, I would have a problem with it. But the problem that I'm having to kind of get my head around right now is how so many people are upset about games they've already played and completed, as you said, Folky, being ported to other platforms. Like that waters down the value of my favourite platform. No, it doesn't. Why does that water down the value of your favourite platform when God of War Ragnarok is round the fucking corner? You've not got that on PC, have you? And this is the point.
I've been playing Gran Turismo 7 solid since March. I'm putting 700 hours into it. That's not on a PC. You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
But then they say it devalues the devaluation of the console or platform or whatnot. That is a personal perspective. It's a individual vision point valuation of what do you as an individual, and have absolutely no impact on anyone else, as a consumer of that entertainment medium. Does it devalue your perspective of that platform? And if it does, well, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't matter a fuck to anyone else, because it is your individual perspective position. You can't then turn around and preach to the choir of this is doing this, ergo I see it as a devaluation, so it must just be a devaluation across the board. It's not. Like, look how many people went out and bought a Series S. That thing's not exactly cutting edge hardware, but they're happy enough with the quality and the content and the volume of content and whatever else is it. All power to them. If they're having a fun time, who gives a fuck? It's that, like you're saying about the PC porting at the same time as building it. It's always a risk, but look at what Sony's done to mitigate that risk. They went and bought a support studio that just does PC ports.
Yeah, they've bought 3 support studios. They went and got
3 support studios, but Nexus is the big one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They also got Bungie. What does Bungie do good?
Multiplats.
They've got a game running on, they've got it running across multiple consoles going well. They've got close partnerships with Capcom and Square Enix. And what do Capcom and Square Enix both do? I mean, fucking look at Capcom, for Christ's sake. Half their stuff is on PC. And they do PC console split games all the time, and they're quite decent. And you look at the other support studios that they work very closely with, that have got the capabilities of doing PC ports. If the main studio, like the Michael Mumbauer said the same thing when we were talking to it. The main focus of the studio, the in-house studio with the supports given from XDev and Visual Studios and all the rest of it, is build the best thing you can for the hardware you're building it on, and focus on that and focus on that only. And then we'll get somebody else to do the ports to other places. Ragnarok is, my understanding is Ragnarok is the last cross-gen in-house game being built that they have planned specifically to build it for the PS4. And anything after this, which is one of the main reasons why we've hardly seen anything post about what's coming, other than a couple of little teasers. Everything after this is PS5 first and foremost, and then they'll port it from there. So if you've got your main team, like whatever Neil Druckmann's working on, and I don't mean Factions, but Factions is a good example. Factions comes out and it's built for PS5 and PC. Well, they built it for the PS5 in-house, and Nixus is carrying the PC port with assistance from somewhere else. It's not going to make the game any worse, because Sony invested the money and PlayStation invested the money to make sure they set up the pipeline so it would have as minimal impact as possible. Yes, there's always going to be, DZ talk about this more than I could because he's more on the technical side of it, and Zuby probably could as well, but there's not going to be huge compromises made and make something work PC. Obviously, when you design it, you've got to, at the conception point, you've got to keep it in mind. But to tie it all the way back to what Hermen was saying, if the PS5 is the primary focus and will remain the primary focus, whilst this thing is having the absolute ball terror success that it is, there's minimal reason to be concerned about what they choose to do with other stuff. Because they might have games that are on PS5 and then they'll go to mobile in 18 months' time, and then they'll go to PC, or they'll go and make a shitty movie out of it or something. We don't know what's planned. We just know that they've got plans. The world's not going to end for them next week.
Big facts. Zuby Tech, shout out to you, sir, in the chat. Love that guy. The source of info, he says Jetpack Interactive might be next. For those who don't know Jetpack Interactive, they're a development studio in Vancouver, I believe. They actually work on porting. They're a pretty small but talented team, because they did God of War 2018, assisted with that port, and they've also assisted with Ragnarok on PlayStation as a development studio. They've worked adjacent to Sony Santa Monica. I think they're only pretty small. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zuby, on that info. I might need to refresh and look up if I'm wrong. But Sony, according to Zuby, might be actually purchasing them. These small, tiny purchases, man, they're very targeted. They're very kind of purposeful. They're not just throwing money at the wind and hoping shit comes back.
Also about the fear of people having the fear of Sony leaning too much into cross-gen. I mean, literally, like, the next big title they have, Spider-Man 2, is confirmed to be PS5 exclusive. So I don't think that we have any more cross-gen titles coming up.
Yeah, I suspect that's the case as well. Especially, the timing's perfect because PS5 is exploding right now. And that actually moves us very smoothly on, with Wilhelm's point, to the topic that PS5 has unprecedented demand at the moment. It's crazy, right? So Folky, you'll probably have a better idea, or any of the panel might have a better idea than me at what these figures are, as I've just been a little absent recently because of baby and stuff. But recently, just yesterday, I think, Hunter put out a tweet. I think it was today, November the 5th. Hunter put out a tweet confirming that the PS5's demand is basically a lot higher than we could ever anticipate. That the price increase hasn't impacted consumer demand, and demand is still so high that Sony now expects to beat their goal of 18 million PS5 sold this fiscal year.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. In fact, I've got a picture. I'm gonna just get up and show you guys. You might have seen it circling around Twitter recently. It's just here. Bear with me. Here we go. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit shit at this. Here we go. Look at this. This is a queue in Japan, right? All queuing up for PS5. Apparently this queue circled round the building, right? And there's like 5...
Sorry, can I just give off a little second here? It's completely irrelevant to anything we're talking about, but I've just seen some news and I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay. Go for it.
Ginger Spice is going to be in the Gran Turismo.
I've fucking seen that. I saw that. Wait, hang on.
The wife just showed up here. Sorry, but what?
Retro, she's the wife of the Formula One team manager, head of who is it? Wait.
Okay.
I can't recall.
Well, surely you pick an actress and not a mime artist.
Yeah, watch Formula One Drive to Survive. She's in that all the time at the moment.
Is she?
Yeah, you see her all the time. She's the wife of, I can't remember his name. Is it Chris? Isn't it?
Christian Horner.
Christian Horner. Yeah. Red Bull. That's the one. Red Bull team manager.
Okay, I'll have a look.
She's probably, I don't know, it's a bit odd. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about a Gran Turismo film in general, to be honest, Retro. Just to me, it's like, it comes across like some weird kind of, bit like Need for Speed movie, you know? Like,
That one starring Aaron Paul.
And, don't.
The one thing it's got going for it is kind of the young, plucky driver coming out of nowhere, and that's kind of how the GT Academy and stuff was. You know what I mean?
Tell you what, they already made a Gran Turismo movie, and it's called Rush. That shit is a Gran Turismo movie. I shit you not. It's got everything you want in a Gran Turismo movie. Rush is brilliant. And I think
that one, yeah. That's that Nicky Lauda biopic.
Yeah, that's the one. Nicky Lauda. He, for me, I think, just why make a God of War movie, for crying out loud? No, not a Gran Turismo one.
Can I throw in a little fun fact as well? Can I throw in a little fun fact as well while we're at it? It's like something that I've been reminded of, and it's that back during Duke Nukem Forever's development, when it was at its like early stages in the late 90s or early 2000s, they also had an attempt at a Duke Nukem movie, and it would have starred, and I kid you not, Charlie Sheen as Duke.
Oh no!
Willie, the chat saying your volume's peaking a little bit.
I'm just lowering it now. I'm trying to get a decent balance with this bad boy. Sorry guys, I turned the decibels up on my mic in the advanced settings because my peak volume just was too quiet. I kept getting complaints that my mic was too low. Sorry about that, guys. Hope I didn't blast your ears off. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Gran Turismo movie. I don't know how I feel. It's but that queue in Japan. Go on, sorry, Folky.
I was just going to say that the Gran Turismo movie wouldn't. I don't think. We'll see what they can come up with, but the things that make Gran Turismo really successful are the car culture side of it. So the history of the cars is a big part of that game. The ability to tune them up and sort of, as you progress through with a vehicle, you don't go from base vehicle to flat out racing vehicle. You progress through with the car gets faster, gets more powerful, gets more responsive. So there's a whole tuning side to it as well. So there's a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, everyone sort of gets their personal. You know, some people like to drive front-wheel drive cars more than rear-wheel drive cars, and some people just play the game very differently. And that's been the same through every game in the series. And Retro and I could sit here for hours and talk about how great the series is, but I just don't think a movie's would be as good as it would if they did like a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, not something like Top Gear where they just go out and do silly shit or what like. You know, you imagine if you had the right people and talking about that Castrol Tom's Supra that's been as mainstay of that game for forever, or someone went out and did a 30 or 40 minute show just talking about some of those JGTC cars or some of the LMP cars, or you know, some of the big vehicles that made that game attractive to so many people. And just, you know, this is how the car came about. This is its history. This is what it was able to do. And, you know, because they did history on vehicles, not just the big racing ones. If you get into the game and you go and look like the little midget, the Daihatsu midget, the little ute thing that's got like a 600cc bike engine in it, they've got a 2-page write-up on the history of that. Like, it would be mad awesome to go in and just have them do, I don't know, you're thinking about the other day, Mitsubishi had, when Fast and Furious came out, Mitsubishi had the FTO, the GTO, the Eclipse, the Lancer, and they had a fifth one. I can't remember what the fifth one was. They had 5 different sports vehicles. 5. Mitsubishi have got none now. But there's 5 episodes on cars that had an impact on car culture.
Mm-hmm.
Just from one manufacturer, let alone go and look at what Toyota did and Nissan did and all the rest of them. That's just from Japan. Then go and look at Europe, go and look at America. Like, fuck, you could do 100+ shows easy if that was what you were focusing on. But, you know, they decide they're going to go and make a movie.
It's a clever
chuck ginger spice in it.
Clever idea, that, to be honest, Folky, and I couldn't agree more. Like, you could have like a really informative kind of hardcore fans kind of dream show, delving into the deeper things of motorsport and vehicular history, and you just can't do that with a movie at all. And throwing ginger spice in it, oh man, it just screams out of touch to me.
Tell you what, if she's singing the title song for that movie, I will riot.
Fuck off. Seriously. No.
Fucking fit.
But to be honest,
anyway,
they had Tom Holland.
Around the corner.
They had Tom Holland play Nathan Drake, so I don't have much hope, to be honest, my dude. I mean, it's like...
Look, I finally watched that the other day, like last week, as an Uncharted fan, as a fan of the series. I hated it.
I hated it too.
But
are you telling me that all that time it was under a freaking grid in the middle of a street? Like, you could just see it. Like, that whole time, all of that shit just to reach a room under a grid that everyone can see.
Yeah.
It was just...
But if you think of it from somebody who's never played the video games, has no idea what the video games are about, and from just a movie lover's perspective... that was a brilliant movie.
It was a Dwayne Johnson kind of film, you know, lighthearted, kind of just...
The problem really is that Tom Holland was such a miscast.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a terrible miscast in my eyes. And I asked myself as well, wasn't the actor Nathan Fillion actually going to play Nathan Drake? Because I remember they're actually...
The problem is he's too old. No.
Yeah, but like I think it would have worked. I mean, remember he did like that Uncharted short film, you know?
Yeah, I remember. He was dope.
He looks the part, and he also has that kind of action movie like charm to him. So you could have played the part.
It's true.
I think like Tom Holland, he was like a terrible cast, man, very terrible.
Yeah, it comes down to that whole: do they do a blockbuster movie and cast the people they did, or do they go for someone like Nathan Fillion to do it? Who, and I thought they missed an opportunity here. If they set the movie after Uncharted 4, like well after Uncharted 4, you could have wheeled in an old Sully who's not who's more of a supporting part-time role than a dedicated full-time part of the show or the movie. Nathan Fillion's doing, working remotely and all that sort of stuff. Yes, he's a step or two slower than he would have been, but like Nathan Drake's not exactly in the games, isn't exactly fucking landing every jump. I mean, many times are you hanging off the side of a mountain, or you're falling off a building, or tripping over shit because it just as a homage to the game, it was horrendous, but as a movie for people who just consume movies, it was probably pretty good. But
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know about that. It kind of comes across to me like one of those stupid movies, like a very very dumb film that like people who don't give a shit about movies would actually watch. Like that's the impression I get. Like a movie like you run somewhere in the background, and then claim
If you're gonna,
it was just a series. It was just a series of big moments that were sort of connected together with with a very average storyline, from my perspective. Like you got you start with the airplane scene, and then you move to, I can't remember what the next one was. It was like this big cinematic moment,
Helicopter.
10 minutes of dribble. Big cinematic moment, minutes of dribble, big cinematic moment. It was just like trying to patch together these big cinematic moments with some kind of underlying storyline. I agree with Will. It wasn't a top class AAA, but it's something you would think. I don't know. Like you say, it's a Dwayne Johnson movie. I think it's a perfect Mark Wahlberg movie, to be honest. It's when he's in, and I don't mind him. I think he's quite good, but you can tell when he's involved in the production versus when somebody else is directing him, because some of the movies where he starred and not been in the production are absolute brilliant, and other ones where he's been in charge of the production, they sort of lose their way a little bit from the script writing, but anyway.
So what you said is production is like his music career? Is that what you're saying?
Did he have a music career?
The unknown in the chat says Tom Holland as Kratos. You know what? I see it. Absolutely. 100%.
Tom Holland as Atreus.
Boy.
Would work better. That would work because he looks sporting.
I think they should literally just get Sonny, the voice actor, as Atreus. He's perfect, man. And but I still can't figure out the casting choice for Kratos.
Vin Diesel.
Fuck no.
Jason Momoa, straight away.
Maybe. No, he's a little too cliche for me.
Nah, I'm telling you. Get his head bald. Let him work out a little bit extra so he can bulk out a bit more. Dude would be perfect Kratos, man.
His fod's too big.
He's big, he's imposing.
His forehead is bigger than mine, bro. Like, and I've got a bloody big fod. I just don't know if it would look right, but I'm just being fickle and shallow there.
When you've got a bald head, does it really matter?
Yes.
Your whole head's technically
the
your
last
forehead.
thing you need if you've got a big fod is no fringe to cover it. But no, honestly, I'm being rude there. I'm being mean. Maybe
the line around the corner. Bring it back on task, mate. The line around the corner.
Yeah, right. The what around the corner?
The line around the corner. We were lined up 10 minutes ago to go around the corner.
Fuck yeah.
Get a PlayStation 5 and then we talk about movies. Baby
brain, guys. Come on. Go easy on me. I'm sorry. PS5's unprecedented demand. All right. It's huge, right? It's crazy. I had a picture, but then freaking Retro started talking and ruined it all. I had a picture lined up before Retro interrupted, and now I don't know where it is. Shit. Here we go. Let's find it. Here we go.
You asked me to be a panel member.
I know.
You want me to talk?
I'm regretting it.
And then you tell me off when I talk?
I'm regretting it, bro. I'm regretting it. All right. I'm joking.
Just say.
No, but seriously, this is in Japan. Like, there's like 6 rows and of thousands of people, and this goes all the way around this giant building in Japan, and they're all queuing for PS5s. PS5 demand is so high that's only now going to surpass. They predict they're going to surpass their estimated 18 million units sold. By the end of not this quarter, this fiscal year.
So it's the end
I
of
believe the
March
target's pretty
2020.
good.
End of March, which is crazy, and that would bring us to how many total? About 30.
30. Roughly 40.
Yeah, closer to 40.
Won't be that much.
It won't be off, will it? It'll be about 40, wouldn't it?
It'll be about 38, 37, 38.
But if they surpass it, you never know. Could hit that big 40. But let's put this into perspective, okay? So William Aguilar, shout out to that legend. He shared this with us, screenshot from one of, was it this taken from Sony's financials? Financial report, I'm not sure. But anyway, this infograph, what the PS4 was selling in 9 days, the PS5 is selling in 80 minutes. That's freaking nuts.
That was at launch. That if that's 80 minutes to sell out 100,000 units.
Yeah. That was November, by November
They
2021.
updated it. It was
They have.
70 odd thousand for 70 minutes or something. Didn't they? They updated it recently.
It's updated again in the last financials that they released on Tuesday. So it's slowed down a little bit. It's now taking them 17 and a half hours to sell out 100,000 units in the US. But
that's still...
the demand has slowed somewhat in the US. It's picked up in other places. Like Europe is going at about, what was the number I saw? I think Europe's going at like 12 hours for 100,000. And some parts of Asia are still under 10 hours per 100,000.
Yeah, so it reached 2 million this month. Last month in Japan. And to put that into perspective, PS5 has sold 2 million by late October in the UK. So, although there's a slightly higher population in Japan than the UK, it's not much. The performance of PS5 in Japan is roughly on par with the performance of the PS5 in the UK, if that puts things into perspective for you guys. And the UK is really, PS5 is what everybody wants. So this whole idea that PlayStation isn't popular anymore in Japan, maybe it's time, guys. Maybe that shit is changing, It seems...
Can we shoot that narrative in the head too, please?
Let's do it. Take it outside and shoot it.
Line it up. Put a ball in it. I need to correct you on something, Wooly.
Go for it.
UK population versus Japanese population.
Okay, alright. I was being generous. It's about 80 million in UK, right?
67?
No, that's age. That's so old. That number is so old. It was 67 like 10 years ago.
Registered population, 68.7.
Oh, well.
As of Friday, November the 4th.
Tell you what, I stand corrected. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about regarding my own country. I apologise. Misinformation on Worldwide Company Gamers podcast, fam. Oh, shit. That's a first.
I'm only pulling your leg with that one. No. Japan's got about 125 million.
So Japan is roughly double the size in population as we're so. Yeah, PS5 is performing at half. Yeah,
that's got a new PS5, boys. Like literally just this second.
What?
Another one?
Yeah, for the son for Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
Oh, you've been trying to do that for about a month, haven't you?
Yeah.
You are the family man gamer.
Just got the confirmation there.
That's beautiful, bro.
Nice. Yeah. To add to your point, though, Wooly, when they try to tie console sales numbers back to population, it completely ignores the whole demographic of who actually buys the damn things. And Japan is still very much a population that is big on gaming entertainment. Same as the UK. Australia is not so much. The US is a giant one. but the US has got like 200 or over 300 million people in it or something stupid like that. So the narrative that PlayStation is dead in Japan should never have existed in the first place. And they say, oh, but console sales are on a decline. Yeah, but that's because there's effectively only one real console on sale in Japan at the moment that's anybody's taking any notice of. They've sold, they bang on about Xbox sales in Japan, but they're only about 325,000 Series consoles, and 80% of them are Series S. So, like, they haven't even cracked 200,000 units sold on either the Series S or the Series X, and PlayStation's up at 2 million. And then you get this whole, but the Switch is belting them around the ears. Like, even with time launch adjusted graphs and all this, like, but the Switch isn't a traditional console. The Switch is gaming on the go. It's a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
If PlayStation had something similar, there's no guarantee that they would be doing the same numbers as the Switch. In fact, they'd probably only get 30%, maybe 40% at best of the amount of people that have bought a Switch. And so that would just cloud that entire market, and neither of them would really be doing all that well.
Mm-hmm.
So just let them stay in their lane. You know, the Switch versus the PlayStation in Japan, well, it's disingenuous to try and compare the two, but
yeah.
You know, the demand for the PlayStation is still there. Had a price rise, no one cared.
Yeah,
no one cared.
I think price is literally the only. It only holds any weight in an argument with the fanboy demographic of Xbox fanboys. Literally, but when it comes to price, it's something that is of so little significance to the everyday consumer of PlayStation, because they see a game they want, they get the game, and you know, 70, you know, from the price of games to the price of really high end hardware like PlayStation VR2, all people can talk about is the price, but not actually what you're getting for the money. And there's two types of people in this world. It's those who look at the price and the price only, and those who look at the product and decide whether they want the product or not and what they're willing to pay for it. And they'll happily wait if they don't want the product enough to buy it day one, or they can't buy it day one, so they'd rather just wait until it's a price they can afford, wait for a sale. People do that all the time, but it's never been an issue for them people that it's retailing at the MSRP day one, that it's deemed fit. You know, it's like, why demand that the MSRP is lower just so you can have it at a sales price day one? It just makes no sense to me. And people just I just think that whole conversation about the price of the PS5 going up by shocker 8%, it means naff all to the vast majority of consumers. It only means
nobody complained when Xbox upped the price in India for a third time this year.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that report? I bet you haven't.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Oh, you did see it?
Yeah.
Very kept very quiet.
But
I just want to know, when did our gaming hobby become cheap? When did gaming change to a cheap hobby? Because it's never been cheap. Not for the hardware, not for the games.
There's no such thing as a cheap hobby, full stop.
In fact, I getting a half decent RC car for under £500. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want a proper RC car with all the nitrous and the proper engines, the proper tires, the proper suspension. It's gonna cost you money.
Retro.
You want to be a train collector?
The average pack of fucking Lego costs more than a PlayStation game.
Over the years, I've been ripped off over the years, boxes of a couple of hundred pieces for like 30, 40, 50 quid. Yeah, bro. The Lego Friends sets that cost 80, 90, £100 a pop. Yeah, bro, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. So when somebody says to me, that interactive medium that you're paying too much for it. I look at the things I pay for my kids and I go, but all of this shit costs way more than my hobby. You know what I mean? Like, where are they getting the idea that games have to be cheap, or have to stay the same price and don't have to take inflation or rising costs or anything into account? When did this become a thing? I don't understand it, because that's all I see pointed out. You know what I mean? I don't see the ones complaining actually taking into account the fact that wages have went up, the cost of living has went up, manufacturing products has gone up, delivering products has gone up. I mean, literally every stage of the process of us making something and buying something has gone up. Mm-hmm. But yet, for some reason, games are supposed to be immune to it, and gaming peripherals and gaming hardware. I don't understand it.
No, big facts.
It's as I put it out on Twitter the other day. I mean, any kind of hobby, as I said before, if you want to play golf, fucking expensive. You want to play music, or you're a musician, you try being a musician. That shit ain't cheap. If you're into collecting vinyl records, if you're into collecting anything, and not restricted to hobbies around collecting or enjoying. I mean, people actually like their hobby is going out and dining, or going out to different bars, or just going out in general and enjoying fucking life. I mean, went to the casino a month or so ago when my sister was visiting with her kids. We went to Melbourne to the casino for the evening, and I just had a simple 12-year-old scotch, and it was $24 just for a single drink. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, bang that up your ass. But, you know, like,
yeah,
and, you know, I use that as an example because I'm like DeWolf. He's the same. We really enjoy scotch and whiskies, and we say it's a hobby of ours to try different ones, and he's got a bit of a collection going too, which is fucking insane how much his collection is worth. But when you want to go and do something and try something, you enjoy life, it costs money. And I mean, and another, go and buy a TV. Go and buy a fucking TV. Just you got to replace your TV. Go and see how much one of those things costs now.
Yep.
Like, bang on about these things being too expensive and a small price rise is going to have massive impacts. So people were saying the price rise was the death knock of the PS5, and it was going to be the end of it.
Bro.
I seriously shit you not, there were people that were making money on podcasts to their fans preaching that shit, that the price rise outside of the US for the PS5 was going to be the death knock for it. It's selling its best it's ever sold in Japan, it's selling its best it's ever sold in Australia, it's selling the best it's ever sold in the UK, it's selling the best it's ever sold throughout Europe. Like, the numbers that they're getting at the moment are getting close to matching the Switch. Mm-hmm. And it's not like the Switch has dropped off in any big mean feats either.
PS5 actually outsold the Switch in Japan earlier on, a few days ago, which is crazy. No, but facts. It's crazy, right? That, you know, I posted out the other day. If you're gonna use your monetized platform to bitch about the MSRP of other people's art that we enjoy as a hobby, turn off your super chats, turn off your memberships, and close your Patreon. Or just shut the fuck up, because the additional value you bring to those who pay you £5 to £80 a month is really something.
Wait, Destin has an over $100 one as well.
Yeah, Destin has no freaking ability to.
I pointed that shit out to him. Remember when he first started going on about the prices? I was like, yeah, but look at what you're charging people.
What are you bringing those people who pay you £100 a month?
Well, basically, it boiled down to stickers, comments, and some like fan-only like thing, and then a couple of just stupid crap, basically. You know what I mean? But he was okay with him selling those for outrageous prices. But when it comes to games, he can't do it? What? Like, how does that make sense? So you're okay expecting people to pay over the odds for your Patreon or your memberships or whatever, but you at the same time have an issue with somebody paying an extra $10 for a game?
Bro, it's
Like-
if I had memberships up for paying anywhere near that amount, which I wouldn't, just frankly because I don't think I bring anywhere near enough value to justify ever even asking a fraction of that amount, or even giving that as an option. I'd be having people having one-to-one pre-recorded sessions with me to upload to my YouTube channel. I'd be doing so much more than just sending them stickers and a thank you. Like what value is he bringing to those people who give him their hard-earned money? And it to me it screams hypocrisy. It screams hypocrisy. But yeah, the fact is that
someone just called him an NPC. Aaron, don't talk about the NPC Destin.
bro, Tony Twist put Destiny's the best. I love it. I love it, bro. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, I know my energy is a little lower tonight, guys, to what it normally is, and I do apologise, but I am running on fumes at the moment. But no,
we'll get out of here shortly then, so you can have a snooze.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I really wanted to actually touch on what was it going to be? Thumbnail. Where was I? Where were we? Oh my god! See, this is what annoys me with the baby brain. It's
just while you collect your thoughts, I'll just drop a couple of numbers because that's what you pay me to do.
You get paid.
Well,
you're not supposed to tell everybody that, Folky. Honestly, I'm joking. No, I pay him in kisses.
I get to come back next time.
I pay him. I pay him in DPs.
Nice.
So they've done 6.5 million consoles so far this year for the PS5, as per their quarterly report, because they're the only one who gives us numbers. It's actually more than that. 6.5 million consoles built year to date. Sorry, they've done 5.7 million consoles sold, units sold. And they've built 6.5 million. So there's a bit of a backlog there that they can get through. But if they're going to hit their 18 million consoles sold target for this year, they've still got to do 12.3 million before March next year. And you've seen the numbers increase, but they haven't increased dramatically over through October and the start of November. So to do 12.3 plus million units in the next 4.5 months, it's very possible if they hit it, you're going to see the Q3 or Q4 have somewhere 7, 8, 9 million units in one quarter. So even if they manage to average it out, we're talking 6 million units in each quarter there. I don't think it's going to happen. Q3 maybe 8 or 9 million, but geez, they'll have to have a big kick up at the end of November and into Christmas, because they've already burnt October and they haven't done anything more spectacular than what they did in Q2, because there hasn't been anyone lighting up the bloody analyst pages I've been looking at to say, holy shit, they've increased the supply here and here, because the sell-through numbers are showing. And I know it's not accurate, but VG charts and NPD data and all the rest of it, those guys have a very similar way of analysing bits and pieces. They haven't picked it up in their monthly sell-through for October either. So unless we see a massive kick-up in November, it's very possible that the March quarter next year could have 10 plus million units in it.
No.
But the March quarter is traditionally a quiet quarter.
That's ridiculous.
So, well, yeah, that's like, they're talking about doing in the next 6 months the same number of units that they sold for all of the financial year 2021.
Unbelievable.
Let that sink in. They did 11.5 million units in point one. They're going to do 12.5 million units in the next 2 months, from October through to March in 6 months. They're going to try and do that. And their forecast, this is in their financials,
doubling
their forecast
their
is saying they're going to do it.
Yeah,
effectively.
It's ridiculous.
So is it the removal of supply constraints that's going to aid that, or is it an increase in production? It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
Though the supply constraints, they were expecting to do those sort of numbers from launch. So the supply constraints have been hemming them back, holding them back for the last 12 to 18 months. But now they're going to break free of that, plus crank up their output, because they've got their, they're onto their third or fourth revision of this thing to try and make it a bit cheaper and a bit more better to produce. They've got a new chipset in it. Zuby can talk more about that.
Zubitech says in the chat they've got 6.5 million secured for Q3. Wow.
Yeah, and now that's huge, and that means that Q3 number for their financial performance is going to be nuts. But then you've got God of War launching, you've got a couple of other bigger games coming through. There's plenty of content there to support their number that they're trying to sell. And then, and this is that their forecast did not get enough attention as to what it should have. Their forecast for Sony overall, but all of their services were saying exactly they were going to meet it, which meant that their 6-month vision, they have everything locked in across that next 6 months. It's only a major issue or a catastrophic event that would cause a major deviation from that. What they can see from within their own watchtower for the next 6 months, and this was back at the end of September, might I add, we're in the second week of November now, they can see what's going to happen at Christmas in their forecast. They can see where the supply is going. They can see what games are launched with God of War and what's coming after that. They are confident that they're going to hit it. And if they've got 6.5 or 7 million consoles in Q3, they've got to do a very similar number in Q4. There's something in March. The PSVR2 is launching in February next year. That thing's must be going to do some numbers based off what they're expecting then.
Mm-hmm.
And there's obviously got to be games to support it all. So, and there's a huge cost involved with launching a platform as well. So, I mean, they reckon there must be going to be a big up kick with PlayStation 5s available when they launch that PSVR2.
Mm-hmm. Big facts. Big facts. I do think, speaking about the PSVR2 and some of the games we've seen coming up...
Sorry, Wooly, before we move on, can I just ask David a question, please?
Yeah, go for it.
It came up in the chat. David, have you got... the way there was a slight decrease in game sales?
Yeah.
Was that attributed to third party or first party?
Was both.
Both? Okay.
Well, now let me clarify this first. The reduction in game sales compared year on year is first party and third party, though it's predominantly third party. But when you look at Q1, so the June quarter to September quarter, there was an increase of games because there was a similar reduction last quarter when you compared year on year. So the reasoning behind that is Q1 and Q2 last year we were all locked up at home. So
yeah.
It's settled back to pre-pandemic expectation.
Should have been.
Yeah, it's not as good as what you would expect, but when you get a massive bump like you did across 2020 and 2021, when things settle back down, they tend to go slightly less than where you left them when you have these big bumps because you don't get that continual growth. But yeah, third-party games took a hammering. They dropped. Well, they dropped. They were down 14 million units across first party. It was 14 million units overall compared year on year, but it was only down 900,000 units first party year on year. But then, when you look at the Q1 results, they dropped from Q1 2021 was 63.6 million units, and Q1 2022 was 47.2. So it was nearly, 15 million units. So it's consistent. But the first party titles, Q1 2021 was 10.5 and 2022 6.6. So it had dropped nearly 4 million units from last year to this year.
You know,
Q1. But that's the June quarter, remember? That's the June quarter. It's not the March quarter.
Okay, cool. So appreciate you explaining that for me. Thank you.
I think with this crazy performance of the PS5 building up, it's pretty obvious that what it is that's what's causing it is it's not just stock resupply, but what has it in such high demand in the first place. It comes down to the games, guys, and you don't need us to go on about yet more of the shit that Phil Spencer has just come out with and Matt Booty in their recent interviews, and they're a bit of a mess, to be honest. If you go look at them, the shit that
I'll be honest, I don't particularly want to.
Yeah.
I don't think we should touch on that.
No.
That's a disaster on its own. I don't particularly want to get involved in that.
Exactly, like that. This is my point: is you don't need us to talk about just yet more of the same old. It's so obvious what they're saying and how it holds up under scrutiny, and also how it contradicts. All of it just screams basically, this is the status quo. It hasn't changed. What all this shit comes down to at the end of the day, all that's important is the games. And what's the huge goal for PlayStation 5? Think about this, guys, right? PlayStation 5 is in 2 years reached over a third of the total number of Xbox console gamers, including Xbox One, Xbox One X, Series S, Series X combined. Like in 2 years, the PS5 has sold 25 million, and that's just it's only going to increase rapidly as more and more consoles become available, and that's because of the games that are coming out. God of War has absolutely shocked the world. God of War Ragnarok this last few days. And I wanted
I've got a constant Ragnarok for that game right now.
I've got a Ragnarok on as well. Yeah, big facts. Big facts. And, that will be what we're going to talk about now as our last topic is we'll touch on PSVR2 as well. And what game... Well, basically, I just wanted us to talk about the games, guys. And that's what's important here is the games. And PlayStation is just killing it with game after game after game releasing. We've had an incredible 2022 so far. I thought Sony was going to get smoked, according to Frostgurian on G4 in 2022.
Absolutely smoked. As she said, by
Hogwarts exclusive making and BioWare owning Microsoft. But according to Frost, but no, in contrast, we've had Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us Part 1, God of War Ragnarok. I mean, the list goes on. And what's crazy is that these games actually make a huge impact. God of War Ragnarok especially. So I wanted to pitch it to you guys. What are your thoughts about Ragnarok and what are you excited for? Games coming up. I've seen some pretty exciting. I'll throw this curveball just in and leave you guys to think on it whilst we're discussing what you guys are looking forward to. But I saw this on Twitter. Just the other day, and it's pretty crazy. The PSVR2, you know how it has eye tracking and foveated rendering, right? Well, what they can do is this new mechanic that I've never even considered before, the blink mechanic, where it can track if you blink, and if you do blink, it can actually implement where enemies come closer to you, Doctor Who style. The Weeping Angels in Doctor Who. That was a terrifying episode. I was a fan of Doctor Who in my younger years. But this is a clip showcasing where if you blink in this VR game, the game detects the fact that you've blinked and the enemies move closer toward you. And I thought that's a crazy, crazy impressive mechanic that's now possible thanks to this new hardware that Sony are putting out for a really good price when you consider the quality of the product compared to far more expensive headsets. VR headsets, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. But yeah, that's a pretty exciting mechanic that I couldn't believe. I never even considered before. So, it is going to change the way that we play games, so to speak. But yeah, what about you guys? What are you excited about?
God of War. That's where I'm most like. That's where all my attention is being drawn at the minute. Every time I turn on the PlayStation, it's sitting there, the music's going, and I just get hyped, man. I'm trying not to look too forward to the future, because I really don't know what's coming other than Spider-Man and Wolverine from Sony, and then the third-party stuff like Forspoken and stuff like that. So there's games I definitely want, Forspoken being one of them. Black Myth Wulong, is that another? That's
Wukong.
That's that one.
Wukong.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I want that. I think it looks really good. Oh, and Atomic Heart.
Oh, Atomic Heart looks ridiculous, guys.
It looks fantastic. I really want to get into that. It looks like something I would really, really be interested in. So yeah, there's a few, but I'm kind of looking at the now more so than the future at the moment.
Guys in the chat, share what games you're excited about as well. Yeah,
I agree with you now. Astrobot Rescue Mission 2, yes.
Is that a thing?
Well, no, he's just saying where is it, as in he wants it, and I agree with him. I thought it was an awesome game.
Josh Ayres says if you think the hype for God of War is big, watch Spider-Man next year. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point. Why does this level look so like The Last of Us Part 2 in the woods? It looks identical, man. It's ridiculous. This part of what's it called? Blight Survival. I'm showing. Literally, the woodland looks so like The Last of Us Part 2. It's ridiculous. Even got people hanging and people standing around the hanging corpse. That is The Last of Us. Motherfuckers, they've just ripped it off. Have you seen that? That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Like the games that I'm excited about are like mostly like boomer shooter stuff, like callback 90 FPS, like games that follow the old school FPS design, like I've mentioned that game before, like a couple of episodes ago, El Paso Elsewhere, like that the Max Payne 1 spiritual successor that looks like what if Max Payne, but like a bit more surreal, and if Max fought against demonic creatures from hell. Like I think that still looks very, very sick. And Spider-Man 2 as well. I really love that first game, and man, I hope by the time that game releases I have that PS5, because I do really want to play it.
I'm hoping for you, bro.
But other than that, it's like, I don't know, man. Like currently, with the title set we have been getting, I don't think I was all that impressed. Which also could be that I wasn't really able to get on track past couple of weeks, because I've been kind of busy with all the partying and at school and stuff. So I had like my eyes mostly like on older games, because essentially I have got myself older hardware, the PS3, so I've been like sort of looking through the internet and see like hidden gems, games that are on that console that I haven't checked out.
Yeah.
I'll say that I'd be very interested in playing. Then I can list you whole fucking, I don't know, man, dictionary, but like in terms of newer games, it's kind of hard for me to really name a higher number than the 3 games or 4 that I've just mentioned now.
Yeah. No, I hear you, bro. I know you're a big fan of boomer shooters. Boomer. If Jez was here right now, he'd go boomer. Yeah, for me, it's got to be, obviously Ragnarok is a no-brainer. I mean, guys, I just can't believe the Metacritic and like the way that game has just shook the internet. It's ridiculous. Like, we are not ready. I was playing God of War 2018 today, and I've just got up to Thummer, the frost giant, the dead frost giant, and it just blows my mind, bro. Like, the shit that's been done in that game, and that was from 2018. So how much more is Ragnarok gonna blow minds? I just can't wait. But what was I gonna say? There's Oh, guys, I'm really flagging here. I'm really sorry. I've never been like this before. My brain's really struggling. It's just honestly, it's a lack of sleep. Callisto Protocol, that's it. Callisto Protocol for me is probably. Have you guys?
Oh, good pick. Good pick.
Have you guys seen the docu series they're releasing on PlayStation on the YouTube channel? They've released a docu series, basically a multi series documentary on Callisto Protocol. Have you guys seen that?
I've seen it in passing, but I haven't.
It's so impressive, bro. It's so.
I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to go into the game blind. That's all it is. I'd kind of seen enough to know that I was gonna get it. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So but please, if you've seen something you really want to talk, go ahead. It's not gonna.
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry. Yeah, it's on the PlayStation. I'll show everybody it so they can search it up themselves. But guys, when you get the chance in the chat, check this series out. It's called the Callisto Protocol Mastering Horror docu-series. Episode 1 was all about mastering horror. The episode 2 is all about the ambience and the atmosphere and the tension, how they're doing that, and it's just phenomenal. Like the insight you get listening to them talk about this incredible looking game, it's just next level for me. I can't believe how hyped I am for that game. NXG, shout out to him. He's particularly hyped for that game as well. He says Callisto is looking to be a game that he just can't wait to play the more and more he sees it. It's extremely impressive.
Wooly, for some reason, Callisto Protocol, for some reason that got me thinking about the game Prey. Like, but I don't mean 2017's Prey. I mean 2006 Prey. Have you played that original game?
I've played the new one. I've not played the original.
Yeah. Oh, you need to play that original game, man. That game is fantastic. I really love Prey 2006.
Yeah, I've got it on Steam. You know, I should play it.
You even got it? Because even like a key, or did you like got it?
To be honest,
during
bro,
the times that still.
Sev will tell you. He couldn't believe it when he saw my library on my PlayStation. How many games I've got. I'm a hoarder. I collect a shit ton of games, and I end up thinking I buy them when they're either on sale or whatever. I'm thinking, oh, I'll play that. And I end up just not getting round to it, so I end up with the biggest backlog ever. And Prey's just another one of them games that I thought it's like the original Deus Ex. I bought Deus Ex and still haven't picked that up yet. I've just got a vast collection.
To go play Cultic. I see Twisted Sin gave you like $2, a $2 donation. I've heard about Cultic. Twisted Sin. I've heard about it, and it does look great.
Thank you.
It does look great, and I will get around playing it. But I hate how they release Cultic. Like instead of just releasing the game, they released episode 1, and then they'll release episode 2 later. But episode 2 is another standalone thing you have to buy, which is kind of weird. But still, Cultic is a good looking game. I think it will slap hard, especially for people who love blood, which is obviously a game Cultic is very much inspired by. But to get back to Prey 2006, if you haven't played Prey 2006, please go ahead and do it. I swear you will not regret it. Like it still looks so gorgeous to this day. Like, let me tell you, that Doom 3 engine they use, it's gorgeous engine, very gorgeous engine.
Yeah,
Plus,
I love Doom 3 when that came out. I used to play that game all the time.
Plus, like, that game's story is surprisingly well told. It's very surprisingly well told. I did not expect that. It's actually, you would not expect, to have a story this well told in a game like this. You expect like that kind of game, that shooter from that era, from a developer like it, to be fun, but you wouldn't expect it to be to be invested in it. But I actually did end up caring about the main character, and to really have to really be connected to him, to his personal connections and his personal beliefs and his journey is just, it got me captivated. Plus, that game has the kind of balls that you rarely see in especially horror games like nowadays. Like you see, Prey's to put it short, it's basically a guy named Dimasi, or Tommy, like he likes to be called, Tommy. Him, his grandfather, and his girlfriend are basically getting abducted by aliens, and these aliens also have been abducting humans for quite a long time. I won't tell you everything because I would basically spoil the twist at the end. But basically, these aliens have kidnapped the people on Earth, and these aliens are just brutal savages, basically. Just savages. They kidnap those the humans either to just kill or torture them, or to basically just benefit themselves. Like you see them like even killing children. Like you see, like there's the footage where some girl gets possessed by some kind of ghost, and then she just starts to throw another kid basically against like some steel pole, impaling that kid. Like you'd never see that in a game these days, and I did not expect to see that like that. That was a very surprising moment.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. Plus, like that body horror as well. And Quake 4 as well is also a good example of that. Like you see those aliens also using some of the humans, like basically, constructing those peoples into those hideous, mindless zombies, basically who just live to serve. You see them carrying around stuff. Keeping the ship they fly, intact. Doing all the chores, and you see them like it's very depressing. To see like someone being reduced to just this. You see them looking all hideous. Just basically have no free will of their own. Just basically living like ants. And Quake 4 even upped that a notch. And I think it's very impressive that like with Prey, which essentially horror isn't its primary focus. It's an FPS. But to see it, doing horror so well, and
similar
even better
to Fair,
than
it's
some
an FPS with great horror elements.
And to see that game, doing horror better than most horror games these days is just very impressive, and it's really really fun. Like it even has like anti-gravity as well.
I need you've sold it to me, bro. I need to play that game. What am I doing?
Like that
having
game
it
is
in my
also
library, but I've not played it yet.
It's very dynamic in its combat due to the anti-gravity stuff. Like there are some parts where you basically where you walk up a wall, walk up a ceiling, and Portals as well. It has Portals like a year before Portal, and that like makes combat so dynamic and exciting, because you'd be walking in a level and then you suddenly see like an enemy walking up the ceiling coming from some kind of portal, or you'd be walking up a ceiling and you see an enemy like walking up a wall, and you'd face in that weird direction to him. But it makes combat just very exciting and refreshing, and they even use that. They just don't use that sort of stuff as just this gimmick, as just this thing like to show off. They actually use that in gameplay in a very fun and creative way. They even use that stuff for puzzles as well. You like have that elements with puzzles, and it's just awesome. It's just really really awesome. And
definitely
to people
sold.
who have also to other people who I've hopefully sold on it. If you want to play, if you have an Xbox 360, you can look for a used copy of it somewhere. But if you want to play it on PC, which is the best version of it, unfortunately they've pulled it off Steam because licensing issues, like Prey has fallen to the hands of Bethesda, and 2K has the publishing rights to that first game, though, which why there are some, corporate complications when it comes to distributing Prey, that 2006 original game nowadays. So the only things you can basically resort to is either buying a key I mean, like normally I don't condone that because, well, support the people, who deliver the goods, But basically with Prey, you have like no other choice. They don't distribute it anymore, so you're either gonna have to buy a Steam key before, which I did, and they're surprisingly cheap, even though like for the fact that despite the fact that the game isn't getting distributed anymore anywhere, the keys are surprisingly cheap, so you can buy them. Or, well, pirating is your only other way around it.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate. Like, I hope someday Prey is getting redistributed, and I hope someday as well that Prey 2, which was the sequel the original Prey should have gotten, if Bethesda weren't such big fucking cocks and screwed over Human Head Studios. And that game was even 90% finished, so I hope someday...
The question, Will, do you...
at a White Castle...
The question, do you hope or do you pray?
Both.
Boom. Shout out to Das Messi. It's great that you're here. You made it late, but I'm glad that you're here, bro, and I hope you enjoy the catch up. Guys, I'm really sorry. Honestly, like I thought I could do a long show, and there's so much more I want to talk about. But I'm absolutely fucked. This has killed me, and I'm running off fumes, and I'm lacking so much sleep. I'm really struggling right now, and I feel really bad because we've barely gotten into this.
Don't feel bad, mate. It's
mate.
amazing what you can do with lack of sleep. You'll get used to it eventually.
Yeah, Folky, what about you, brother? What game really has you so excited?
Oh, mate, I can't just really narrow it down to one because people have seen online since just before Tokyo Game Show, I've been really talking up the indie scene.
Yeah,
and the startup studios. And PAX Australia was just amazing.
So many new studios are opening up in Australia, in Sweden.
Yeah, it's a big piece of the puzzle. Shuhei, I've said it a few times. Shuhei Yoshida did an interview at PAX Australia, and I shared it a couple of times. I encourage anybody and everybody who loves gaming to watch that interview.
I'll be watching
because it sets a few false claims straight. But what it does is it shows you how passionate he is about gaming, and not from a corporate perspective, but from I have a platform that I can help indies, and I'm going to use it. His game of the year last year was a PC only game last year, and it's only just come to PlayStation. His game of the year this year is that fucking Cult of the Lamb so far. Is that Cult of the Lamb made by a dozen people in Melbourne?
Incredible. And
just like the list of games, like there's so many of them. A little one that's close to my heart is it's called Hollow Hero. It's basically a combat wombat game. So you run around as a wombat, similar to like I say, Mutant or something like that. But it's called something or other. Hollow Hero. Check them out on Twitter. They're pretty cool. They're all sort of standard games, but they've all got this little quirk or an interesting mechanic or something different. There's a heap of 2D side scrollers, and I've never been into 2D side scrollers, but some of the ones that are coming out are just looking awesome. But things like this particular one, as an example, it's your standard over the shoulder, run around, you've got a few weapons, engage in melee combat and short range combat and all the rest of it. What makes it interesting is, as a wombat, you can dig underground. So that makes an entirely different aspect to how the combat works.
What's the game
instead
called?
Of having your usual... It's called Hollow Hero.
Hollow
Hero. They're a startup, so they're on Twitter.
Primordial's Legends.
Primordial's Legends Hollow Hero. That's them. Just something different, something unique. But man, like, what was that one we were looking at the other day, Willie? Blade something? Blade Strike? No, what was it called?
Stellar Blade?
No, that's sword fighting one. Two guys. Development team of 2 people made this game.
Oh.
I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, I'm getting excited now because this stuff is just mad fun.
Describe it to me. Well, what was the game? What was the game?
It was like the medieval, done in Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, Blight.
It was like Souls.
Blight.
Blight something.
Yeah.
Something Blight.
Yeah, I was showing gameplay of it earlier on.
Yeah, 2 people made that game.
You're joking.
2 people. Like, it's. This is where I get excited. There's a huge long list of games that are coming from the indie scene up to the AA scene. And I don't mean like 10 or 20. We're talking hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of these small studios that have got the tools and that just are passionate about making a good game. And they're able to reach out and either get some funding or get some production assistance or whatever it is. And Shuhei and his team and Devolver and Annapurna and those guys are just going berserk, finding all these little games at these game shows and these conventions and just bringing them to light and bringing them to us. And this is where I see this generation's really going to go well. Forget about the big AAA $70 price tag argument. Just fuck that right off, because there's these little $20 and $30 and $40 games that are 8 to 15, 20 hours max. They're going to be fun. They look amazing. They're just going to have that gameplay mechanic that makes it an enjoyable experience. And I really can't list. I mean, I'm pumped for what's coming because they just look so much fun.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, I feel you.
Combat Wombat.
It's just there's games I've seen some at one that you'll like, Will, is called Conscript, and it's set in World War One, and it's it's got a horror theme, but it's also like a shooter, and it's just like you said, those old school. I can't even remember the name of the movie was now. It's kind of like, you know what Predator was like? It was sort of that hard action movie, but it had that little bit of a, horror violence, or Alien, that sort of horror violence piece to it.
Oh,
like
dude, I just
Dog
see
Soldiers.
some gameplay footage of it. I just see some gameplay footage of that game, dude. It reminds me so much of the first Postal game, and I love that first Postal game.
This does look really good, actually. I've got all gameplay now.
It looks rad as hell. I love it.
Man,
Yeah.
this is
And
a
that's-
treasure trove.
None of these. And this is why I say we at the start we want to stay independent, because a lot of these indie games are coming to PC first, and that's where a lot of us, if we get them day one or early in the piece, well, a lot of us are probably going to play them on PC first.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that we're PC Master Race bloody hyping it up? No, we just like this freaking game, and that's where we're going to play it, because that's where we can get to it if we want it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we're only going to wait 6 months to get it on PlayStation, I'll just wait the 6 months. I don't mind, because I would prefer to play it on the PlayStation.
Conscript's looking phenomenal, actually, man. It's a great.
Dude,
shout.
did you see that? I think that was like that pre-rendered like cutscene thing or whatever that was. It really looked like a cutscene from like that 90s kind of era, like that first Fallout game.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks
Yeah.
so
That-
much. Thanks so much for showing me this, Faulkner.
That's no
That looks
drama. I mean, like,
incredible.
Yeah, this is phenomenal.
it's tough to keep up with them all. But I just say to people, they say, how do you keep up? It's like, get on Twitter, or unfortunately it'll have to be Twitter, because most of them don't operate, well, at the moment they don't operate on other social media platforms, but search the hat.
Sorry, Falky, my internet just dropped.
Tell Game Show.
Could you
Follow
repeat that?
Shuhei. Follow, when you get on Twitter, search the hashtags, and then follow those studios, like hashtag PAX Australia, or PAXAUS, hashtag TGS, follow Shuhei, Greg Rice and his team, and they just tag games, and go down the rabbit holes on some of these guys. Go to Devolver and see who they've got that they're tagging. Go to Annapurna and see who they've got and who they're tagging.
That is actually true. That's also how I came to know a lot of these indie shooter titles, those indie 90s old school FPS games.
Speaking of, you said this is why we wanted to remain independent, to reach out to these developers of games that might not be coming to PlayStation first, but PC first. I've actually been talking with Mike Garn. It turns out he's a fan of the show. He's been watching the show, and he's a concept artist. He works at ArcSync at the moment, who are currently he works at Dicom Software, who are working on ArcSync, which is a very awesome kind of sci-fi-esque side-scrolling action puzzle shooter. It's looking really, really impressive. Anyway, we're going to be getting him on soon. I've just haven't yet nailed a date because, frankly, I want to do it justice, and I want to have good questions to pick his brains on, and I want to know everything about this guy first before I have him on the show, because I want to do him justice, and I also want him to feel like it was worth his time. So that's what I do when we have guests.
Awesome.
When we have guests, we like to do our guests justice. So watch this space, guys. Soon we'll have this legend himself on the show, working on some pretty cool stuff. I'll get it up full screen for you all so you can see it better. But yeah, he's just showcasing some of the animations at the moment of ArcSync. It's a robot crawling on the ground. It's a bit pixelated because this is Twitter footage, but it's looking dope, man. Like, it's looking really, really good. Very high quality side scroller with amazing art direction and animation. So much shit happening on screen at once. Really looking great. Gives me like RoboCop era vibes,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be exciting, guys. Watch this space. Anything, guys, you want to add? I'm sorry, guys. There's so much I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'll prepare better for the next show on specifically this topic on things that we're looking forward to. I've just had my hands so tied with the baby that I feel very ill prepared for this, and I'm just, my brain's shutting down because I'm lacking sleep so badly.
There is another game that I really, really love to just bits. A game that I will defend at any day, any hour, any place. And this is a game that I haven't really mentioned, I think, in the show. But it's a game that I think I could count as one of my favorite games of all time, because I do really think it's a true thing of beauty. It was one of the most magical games, and also absolute one of a kind of title. And that game is that I mean is a game called Shenmue.
Oh, Shenmue.
Have you heard of Shenmue?
Yeah, we know Shenmue.
I love Shenmue so much. It's one of the most just magical experiences that I've ever had. I mean, Shenmue nowadays gets a lot of shit from people because they say story is dumb, voice acting is dumb, the gameplay is just waiting around, and I just say, shut the fuck up, you don't know what art is. Because that game truly is like a beautiful, just magical piece of art. Like, to those who don't know what Shenmue is, Shenmue's basic, Yakuza Beta. The unknown's calling it the Yakuza Beta.
Won't be no Yakuza without the other one. To be honest.
That's also what I wanted to say. Like, with Shenmue really inspired like a whole fucking plethora of games, and without Shenmue there wouldn't have been Yakuza. And there are a lot of like sort of things Shenmue has established that later games would like follow suit. I think Shenmue also is like an example of one of the earliest like form of like open world games.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it. And
Yeah,
that game
I
basically
remember it had a cult. It has a proper cult following. When Shenmue 3 was announced, people lost their shit. They were like crying tears of joy.
I really love Shenmue. The score, so beautiful, so beautiful. I think one of the most underappreciated gaming scores in existence. The story is also very well told. I found myself really invested in Ryu Hayabusa's Revenge Tale. If you don't know what Shenmue is, like to also sum it up quickly, it's about Ryu Hayabusa, who whose family owns like a dojo that they live in, and one day his father's getting murdered by a man named Landi, who you don't really know who that man is. All you know is that he killed his father, and now Ryu Hayabusa wants to commit revenge. He wants to avenge his father, and thus he starts chasing that Landi person. Which is why then the game starts up with you roaming around the world, basically becoming a bit of a detective yourself. You go around the streets, you ask people if they maybe know a guy named Landi, or you start to like figure out, and look for clues. Who could know Landi? Where could Landi be? And then you, as the game goes, you start to you'll find people who have connections to him. So you start getting into those various kind of situations. I think that's what makes this game like so special, because there's never a dull moment for me when playing Shenmue. It's very. I mean,
you have this ability to appreciate
I also,
games that haven't aged well. I don't know, like for me, I'd struggle to play it. I think because of the mechanically.
It aged a bit, but I still think it's very playable these days. Oh man, I also lack a bit of energy, which is why my words are kind of failing right now. But
oh mate, I think
but to try my best here right now is Shenmue. What I love so much about it is just the sheer amount of things that you can do in this game. Because what is so impressive about it, for one, is for example, the NPCs in this game. The characters in the world all have a routine. All the characters in the game have a routine. Like the barber has a routine. Just like Red Dead Redemption 2, but Shenmue did it like decades earlier. Every character in this game has a routine that they follow, and you just do not see like the cashier. You just don't see the cashier behind the counter. You also see that cashier outside, talking with a person. Like you'll see those people, acting their
Did
daily.
You know they've got a Shenmue? They've got a Shenmue anime.
I know about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't watched though, because I'm not that huge of an anime person. I gotta admit.
Yeah.
But I haven't also heard that many things about it. But I mean, if it's good, let me know. Then I'd maybe be interested in checking it out.
Yeah, I need to. There's so many, like I've been playing a bit more Judgment again. Got back into that, but I need to really knuckle down with these games, man. I am struggling to stick to one game. I jump from game to game to game to game to game.
Yeah, like
I think I'm just buying my time till God of War.
Dude, I'm currently playing Saints Row 2, Mass Effect, Half-Life 2, and what was the other game? God, I forgot now. Fuck.
Guys, I tell you what, I know there's so many games that I wanted us to talk about, and there's just so many great things coming out. The indie scene is blowing up. Well, we should have a proper.
Wait! I fucked up. Did I really say? I think I.
You did, yeah.
I think, yeah. Ryu Hayabusa. That's fucking Ninja Gaiden. That's Ninja Gaiden. Fuck's sakes. That's Ninja Gaiden. I'm sorry. It's very late right now, and they all like. There are so many fucking Japanese gaming characters whose names are Ryu. Okay, like get me some slack. fuck's sakes.
Flipping heck.
We have a
Look at
Street
these.
Fighter.
Look at these men of culture in the chat, like correcting
Ryu
your ass.
Hazuki, yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
love it,
I'm
guys.
sorry, but we have like Ryu Hayabusa, then we have like Ryu from Street Fighters, and now we have Ryu
You know, these guys in the chat,
Hazuki.
they're real
Hazuki,
gamers. They're
fuck's
real
sakes.
gamers. Flipping
Fuck's
heck.
But at least they know their shit, okay?
Yeah, they know
At
that
least
shit.
you know the shit.
We're talking. We're talking
I
to
also
people who
love
know that
Ninja
shit.
Gaiden. I also love Ninja Gaiden, man. Fuck's sakes.
I
But
love it.
anyways,
I
if you
love
haven't played Shenmue, please do. It's beautiful. Like it jumps like from 1 second you're just that guy walking around the city, interrogating, basically being your own detective in that pursuit of revenge. You just ask those people like, where that person could be, and then you start like obtaining those clues. You find like people who may know Landi, or people who have connections to people who may have connections to Landi. Then you just start to he
Unravel
starts
mystery.
getting into a bit of a feud with like the sailors. You just start going around the clubs and bars at night, and then you beat up those sailors. Like I love it. It like turns from this beautiful just world simulation, where like the mundanity, like that's also a thing that I love so much about this game. Like the mundanity in Shenmue is not boring. It's actually beautiful and fun, because killing time is just precious in there. Like you can like have a bottle of Coke if you want to, and then maybe like you like one of those few lucky winners in that bottle. You can like then go later to a store and then get a prize. I remembered, like you can get like a figurine, or even like get a cassette tape which contains like a part of the Shenmue soundtrack, which is pretty cool. Or another thing that I really like doing is going to the arcades and doing those mini games. I think those are fun as hell, and I've killed so much time in there. Like Shenmue really wants, which is also a thing that I think is really beautiful, is it wants you to make the most out of the game. It wants you to create basically your own fun. It's not there to tell you what to do. It just gives you all these tools. It gives you this world, and it wants you to experience the world, like you're actually in it.
In other words,
When
guys,
you're
play
roaming
Shenmue.
around in like when you're roaming around, your daily environment, like nobody tells you really like, go do this or go do that. Like nobody fucking tells you that. If you're sitting on the couch all fucking day, then yeah, well, don't complain about your day just being eventless. Like in Shenmue, you can have so many fun events and so many fun things coming up. Like there's also so many like timely events as well. Like when you just take your time and like take, for example, the beauty of the world in, and actually like go around and explore. There's a lot of things you can find. Like you can trigger some certain events, and from these certain events you then, for example, can learn new fighting moves, because this game uses basically the same engine as Virtua Fighter, and thus it really also has like a bit of a rich combat system. That combat system also I love it, because it is very realistic, especially for its time, because you see enemies reacting differently to different parts of their bodies you hit. You punch them in the stomach very hard. You see them like crumbing together and like holding their stomach. And when you give them like a hard hit, like there's a move in the game that I don't know the name of, but it's a move that's kind of risky to pull off, because it's a bit of a lengthy button combo, and it does leave you open. When for example your attacker, when the enemy attacks fast, it does leave you open for attacks. But if you coordinate that attack well and pull it off at the right time, you can instantly knock out an enemy with it. Like it's actually very realistic, like very well and hard landing attacks can actually lead to like instant KOs, which is what I also really love about that game. It actually makes combat not just this
Sounds
mindless
like
button.
all the videos I've been seeing on YouTube haven't been doing it justice, because it sounds a lot more in depth than one would think.
Yeah, like it's like a combat system where you just don't spam
I thought
buttons.
it was
It's like actually there's
the doodle sim. I thought it was just a doodle sim where you just mooch around
No.
and do
No,
lots of
it's
little
really
bits and
not.
bobs. The bits and bobs
Well-
simulator.
It's really not. You just
even got like game machines and stuff where you can play like old versions of Sega games and
yeah.
you can collect little like
Yeah.
figures and stuff out of the
I know.
Oh,
machines.
that's also
I'm
something
so-
I really love to do.
I'm
like,
so
you can
uncultured.
collect
I'm
those-
so
you can
uncultured.
You
It's
can
ridiculous.
collect those little Sonic
addicted.
figures.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
it's
Messi
awesome.
That's Messi saying you're making him want to reinstall it and play it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and buy Shenmue 1 and 2, I think.
Fucking
Oh,
hell.
dude, absolutely
Wilhelm, what
do
have you
it,
done,
like-
bro? You started a Shen movement.
It's
Why do I just make you laugh so much?
Remaster or whatever.
incredible
You
game.
started a Shen
yourself a
movement.
favor.
It's called the Shen movement.
The Shen movement. I'm proud of it. It's a fantastic game, man. It's a really,
my
really
days.
fantastic game. Like,
Is there?
If
They
you-
should
if
have a
you are
spin-off
actually
series.
willing-
They should have a spin-off series where you're a cow and call it Shenmue.
like honestly, like of course there are like qualities to Shenmue that haven't aged that well, like the voice acting. But I do think that voice acting does add to the charm of the game. I do really think it adds to the game very, very well. And let me just tell you, if you are actually willing, like, to take in what the game offers, you let all the biases from other people by side, and leave all the memes and jokes by side, and actually, start to see the game for what it is, and actually, use the tools and appreciate what the game is actually trying to convey. I think you will have like a very sublime time with it. I really did have a sublime time. It's a very immersive world. Like when you are willing to, when you're not one of those fucking buggerals who just walk around, just wait all day and ask themselves why the game's so stupid, and actually walk around, explore,
See,
and actually do
I
shit,
actually
and
really
actually
loved
like,
as a kid the game A Dog's Life, and it does kind of remind me of that. Like it's a game.
That's going back, Wooly. Fucking hell.
Canal, do you remember the game A Dog's Life? I was so
Yeah,
hyped about that
I
game
do
as a kid.
indeed.
You could pick up your own shit and bark, and when you barked, it squelched in your mouth. Like the poo squelched. Oh man!
like if you actually really play the game, if you actually use, like see it for what it is, actually go out and explore, and understand actually what the game actually wants you to do, what the game is actually intended for the player, what Yu Suzuki's vision was. And I think you're going to have like a very great time with it. I really was very invested and very immersed in the story. Really had a great time with it, and
play Shenmue, and if you ever get the chance, if you have a PS2, get A Dog's Life, because that's basically. It sounds like it's a Shenmue, but you're a dog. It sounds like it's a very similar kind of game. And so
Shenmue is actually also easy to obtain these days. Like Family Man Gamer already said there's like this remastered collection out for PS4 and the Xbox One and on the PC. So you can buy those, and they work good. They were really
I think
good. Like
someone said in the comments that the third one is on PS Plus.
Yeah.
I haven't played the third one yet. I haven't played that one yet.
Shenmue 3.
No, neither have I.
Well, guys.
One was a really good, really well received one when they got it. So
Yeah.
I got to go, lads. Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't mean to cut it short, but I got to scoot.
No worries, Folky. Thank you so much, brother. Folky, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Forky87 on Twitter.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can see his handle on the screen just below, second from the left. And yeah, thank you, Folky. It's been awesome. I'm gonna be going as well in a couple of minutes, so we'll be closing this bad boy up. As to be honest, I'm beyond wrecked, and now I'm not even able to form a sentence together. So,
all good, mate. All right, thanks for the chat, lads. I got to scoot.
All right, Folky,
Take care, bro.
Thank you.
Hi, Faulkner.
Yeah, guys.
See you, mate.
A big apology to everyone if I've sounded very deflated tonight. I'm really, I wanted to do a podcast because it's been so long and adjusting to dad life. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. The internet just died for a minute. Even formulating sentences is hard for me right now. I'm that tired. So I don't want to ruin the show anymore. So let's close this bad boy up. But shout out to Das Messi. Don't apologise, dude. You've got nothing to be sorry for. Family first, and I'm glad that you were able to make it. I didn't realise I just assumed you didn't know what time it started. But if you had things to do, man, that's great. You can always catch up. And I also love your comment, Dog Moo, by the way. Yeah, that's what a dog's life is. It is Dog Moo. It's Dog Moo. But yeah, thank you to everyone for those listening in. You're all awesome. There's a few new names tonight that I've seen as well, which is awesome. And guys, it's just been a great show. Sorry again, I'm so beat. I will get my energy levels back to normal as I adjust to being a dad. But at the moment, I'm flagging completely. Wilhelm Retro, it's been emotional. It's been wonderful.
It's been awesome, man.
Thank you, brother.
Chat with you lot again, and just yeah.
We should be. I will be preparing a more indie game centric episode. We'll probably have an indie dev or two on as well. On the show when we do that, so that'll be pretty cool. I've got some exciting things in the pipeline for the show, guys. Just bear with me, and we're maintaining a very good, healthy, communicative relationship with quite a number of really cool people in the industry, including game developers who want to be on the show, multiple game developers. And so it's just knuckling down the research and preparing the show in advance, and my time's been a little bit limited at the moment, but when those things come, they'll be amazing, like it was with NXG and Michael Mumbauer and Rip Out Devs, Gorant and other episodes we've had. It'll be no different when we have these guys on as well. So and Duke Nukem Forever modding team, that was an amazing show. So yeah, watch this space, that's all I'll say. And thank you for everyone for all your support. It really means a lot, it really does. So Retro, where can we find you, bro?
Yeah, you can find me on the Twitter, XTSX Retro. If anyone wants to add me on PlayStation or Xbox, my tag names are in my bio.
Love it.
Everyone's welcome.
And Wilhelm, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me under at Maximus Wilhelm on Twitter, and yeah,
awesome, bro. Shout out to Toolman55. Thank you, my dude, for being here tonight. Josh Ayres, Das Messi. Forgetful Gamer, he says he's just running away from that awful dad joke. It was a freaking awful dad joke, and you're absolutely right. I am running away. I can't actually believe I came out with that shit about playing as a cow. Shenmue. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? The Unknown, Twisted Sin. Thank you so much, guys. All your support, all of you in the chat. You've been awesome. Remember, guys, always use your noggin. Don't be a donut. Love you all. Peace out. Until next time.